A very nicely dressed lady had come by here. I'm sitting like in this outside circle where there's several benches, and she had walked by me earlier, and then she was walking back by me, and I definitely noticed her the first time, but I noticed her the second time. Like, I know without even looking, like I can feel like she owns a car. She's not a pedestrian. Like, she's wheeling a little like small luggage, and it's like, yeah, like these people weren't here 2 weeks ago. Like when I was in jail still, these people were not here. And so it's very obvious that she's a stalker. So I decided I would say something to her this time. And so I said, "Where's your car?" And she's like, "I don't drive yet. I've been being stalked." And I'm like, "You don't drive yet. You've been being..." And then as I'm like repeating kind of to myself like what she said, like she's like, "You look very beautiful." And I wasn't making conversation with her beyond what I already had said. And so what she said to me is the way these people do. It's like what she's doing is mentioning what she's doing. She's mentioning stalking when she's the stalker, and she's putting a twist on it. So like, let's say I was going to call her out. Let's say the next thing I was going to say was, "Why are you stalking me?" She's already mentioned a stalker and that she's the victim of being stalked. See how that works? And it's like a gaslighting technique in a roundabout way. But I wasn't really going to say anything more. I just know that even before I went to jail this last time, there were people, like there was this one man on the bus. He always had a backpack, and he looked real homely. Like he passed for homeless for sure. Until one day that I saw him in his big van, and he was no longer like going that avenue trying to, this is when I used to stay at that other, whatever it was called, a community garden place, and they were coming for me every night but never could. And so I think he was like finally like leaving town, wherever his home was, which was probably New York or something. But anyway, and when I saw him in his van, like he looked totally different. Like he wasn't dressed all like homely. He certainly didn't have a backpack. And that's what this lady was too. She has her own vehicle. She's not a pedestrian. She does not, there's nothing wrong, of course, with walking, but what I'm saying is like she is cutting through. It's like this little, little area here. So, they've been sending, there's someone over there now. They've been sending, someone was sitting, 2 benches away, and then they've had numerous people walk through here. People have been cutting in the grass. I sat here where it's further from the sidewalk. Sometimes I sit there and there's a sidewalk real close, and people will cut real close behind me, and they're always looking on my phone to see what I'm doing. And so I sat here, and they've sent more than one man crossing in the grass close here beside me. And when they look at me and make eye contact, I just shake my head no. It's like I'm not, And then on my way over here, leaving Kroger, where I was being stalked there, they had some people, like a guy was sitting in one of the benches further over there, and I was pronouncing judgment on him right away, stalker. And as I am like putting my hand out, it's just my thing, and I'm like saying under my breath, like my little, like, if you want to say curse, whatever, I don't care whatever y'all think. I was pronouncing judgment on him. "You're a stalker, blah, 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 blah," and he was like, "Hey, beautiful, how you doing today?" I just not talking to them, but it's all just a bunch of bullshit. And the thing is that because they had me in a false marriage for so long, and because of the beliefs of Christianity and submission to a fault, they think that I'm like some imbecile. And then before that, like getting caught up with boys who were being sent in from this group, whether it was to rape me, and then before that it was my family molesting me and all of that. And so there's a lot of binding me through the sacral chakra, however, like root work. They put root work on me, and I was molested since days old. And then a lot of that was, well, pretty much all that was blocked, and then some of it's come back online since I healed and left the abusive marriage, non-marriage really. And I had visions and dreams and all kinds of stuff, and I have always been able to like perceive like when certain people were pregnant. I like just would like wake up knowing that so and so is pregnant and things like that. But these people have a false idea of me because they were able to succeed for so long with using like dark magic on me, but that's because I didn't understand, And then I remember as a teen when I would say that I did have like a sexual addiction through the years of like 12 to 17. I just wanted to be loved, and that's very normal. And the way that they were neglecting me, like my family, everybody like was just really treating me awful. It makes sense, usually girls, at least girls, but maybe both. But if you're molested, you either act out and become promiscuous, or you like retreat from any kind of, and I know now, like they sent in the boy who raped me when I was 11, and I would have thought I was a virgin at 11, and I didn't really know about sex, but I had definitely been molested prior to that. And anyway, but these people, like, they just have like a wrong idea of me. They think that I think I have been easily controlled, and perhaps it would seem that way, but most of it was in my adult life through becoming a Christian, actually, after I filed for divorce the first time, which was like 26 years ago, only after a couple years of marriage. And then I had this experience, which is another guy they had sent in, and heard the gospel for the first time. And the whole idea of like someone dying for my sins, I think, appealed, because I would have really felt a lot of shame for sleeping with as many people as I did, which was over 100 during those 5 years of being a preteen to, before I was an adult. And then I got married young, and I didn't know that it was a false marriage, and my parents were hiring someone, which of course, who would think that? And so, the majority of my, all of my adult life pretty much has been in a marriage where when I got back with him after having the conversion, because of what the Bible said, I thought that God hated divorce and that it would be better if we could work it out. We already had 2 children. And so I had no idea all of this was like a huge ploy. And so the further and further I went into Christianity was because I was trying to submit to a husband who was an ass, and win him to Christ. And that was because of what the Bible said. And I definitely firmly believe the Bible. I memorized passages, and because certain pastors would say, well, you're just not very meek, you're not submissive. And I'm like, well, I'm trying, like if you knew how I could be, or how I have been, like I am very submissive, maybe not to compare to your church ladies and stuff. And so I didn't realize it was like part of this whole huge like corrupt deception, really, and all the churches are vampires. And so these people, I think this was actually like part of like the whole plan, like a greater spiritual plan, was that I would be the one to deceive them without even me knowing, and took them off guard, and I'm pulling down their whole group. And maybe the Mennonites at first, but the Mennonites, because they couldn't kill me and there was a hit on my life, they were rallying with their other, Illuminati brothers and sisters. And so they ended up getting, over the course of the last 3 to 4 years, they ended up getting the whole group involved with trying to take me down. And all of it is like really a more complicated tale that I would only understand just a little, but basically it has to do with entities that are my enemies, and they're alien and I'm alien, but we're not the same. And those entities worked with this group because they offer up human sacrifice, and they wanted me, and I was like promised my death, or I was promised. And if maybe these people didn't realize what they were agreeing to, but they were agreeing to not just like, let's say it was huge group and huge orgies, like not just like the person in charge, or not just like one particular, not just the Eastern Stars, not just this or that, but like they were agreeing, knowing it or not, that their whole group would have to be offered if they couldn't get me. And that's what's happening. so cut by me and mention that you're being stalked, you're just a ridiculous fool, and you're saying to the spirit world, here I am, help, today I need some real, I need some, oh, that's just so frustrating. So, yeah, y'all keep on with your mockery, because I keep saying it, but there's coming a day, it might be tomorrow, there's coming a day, like really soon, that y'all are gonna see, like, oh my God. And I think you already know. I think y'all know.